One type of sorting is selection sorting. To explain this, we will be sorting school supplies by length. For selection sorting, the smallest item is found in the array and switched with the current position, starting at the first position.
The first item is the pen. Because this is the first item in the array, we will designate it as the smallest item. Then we will move on to the next item, which is the lead. We will now compare this item's length to the smallest item's length. Because the lead is shorter than the pen, we will designate it as the smallest. We will then move on to the next item, which is the flash drive. We will compare this to the current smallest item, which is the lead, and we find that it is smaller, so we designate the flash drive as the smallest. We move on to the next item, and we compare it to the smallest. Because the mechanical eraser is not smaller than the flash drive, we do not designate it as the smallest, and we move on to the next item. The fruit eraser is smaller than the flash drive, so we designate this one as the smallest. We move on to the highlighter, and it is not smaller than the fruit eraser, so we move on to the next one. The ruler is also not smaller than the fruit eraser, so we have reached the end of the array, and we now swap the switch position and the smallest item. And we increment the switch position and move the smallest to the switch position. So starting from the lead, it is designated as the smallest because it is the switch position. We then move on to the next item, which is the flash drive. Because the flash drive is smaller than the lead, we designate it as the smallest item. We move on to the mechanical eraser. This is not smaller than the flash drive, so we do not designate this as the smallest. Moving on, we go to the pen. This is also not smaller than the flash drive, so we move on to the next item. The highlighter is not smaller than the flash drive, so then we move on to the next item once again. And lastly, the ruler is also not smaller than the flash drive. So then we switch the smallest item with the switch position, and we increment the switch position.
This process is repeated until all the items in the array are sorted into the correct position.